the Jedi will you be?
These were some of the last words spoken by Grandmaster Yoda in Return of the Jedi in 1983, just before his passing, in front of the eyes of Luke Skywalker. And when Return of the Jedi released in 1983, we thought this was going to be the end. This was going to be the end of that saga, not the end of the story, because we would go back and see the prequel trilogy. But we thought Return of the Jedi would be the last of the Imperial era. But it wasn't. In fact, we've had a lot of new stories come out since Return of the Jedi, from the expanded universe novels to the Force Unleashed video games, and now in the Disney era, we have the Ahsoka series, Mandalorian, and a host of novels and video games as well. So, going back to Yoda's statement, let's take a look at how accurate his statement actually was, and some reasons as to why he may have told Luke that Luke was the last Jedi. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Gerald, and I'm a Star Wars fanatic, and you can be a Star Wars fanatic too. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. Subscribing is absolutely free. We may not agree on every topic that I talk about, but we do agree on one thing. We love Star Wars. Okay, with that said, let's get on with today's topic. Now, it is fair to say that Yoda may have believed that Luke would be the last Jedi after Yoda passed on into the Force. In fact, Ahsoka Tano wasn't a Jedi. Or was she? Now, we do have to keep in mind that when Return of the Jedi was written, Ahsoka Tano, the Clone Wars, the prequels, any of it was not thought of. There was only a rough idea of what had happened to Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi at that time to make it to Return of the Jedi. The rest of the stuff would be written later, far later. And when Yoda spoke that in 1983, there was no Ahsoka. There was no even thought of Ahsoka. But now there is. There is an Ahsoka Tano, and she is Force sensitive. But the question remains, is Ahsoka a Jedi? And I'm going to go ahead and say yes. At the time of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano is a Jedi. At the time of Return of the Jedi, yes, Ahsoka Tano is a Jedi. And we know that because of the show Star Wars Rebels. Now, let's take into consideration that Ahsoka Tano did go through her trials, and she took herself out of the Jedi Order and no longer considered herself a Jedi. All the way through the Clone Wars for the rest of that time, up until even through Season 7 of the Clone Wars, when she was fighting Maul, she would dispute any time someone called her a Jedi. And this includes even her former master, Anakin Skywalker. Even during the Clone Wars Season 7, she said, no, I'm saying this as a citizen, not as a Jedi. Then, in Rebels, when she fights Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, he tells her, this is not the Jedi way. She says, I am no Jedi. Yet, she still talks to Ezra Bridger as if she is a Jedi mentor to him, knowing he is training in the Jedi arts. Even after Kanan's death, she talks to Ezra as in he is a fledgling Jedi. Now, she could just be helping him out and trying to, coach him along to become a Jedi, because that's what Ezra wants to do. But let's go back to the original statement of Yoda. When gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be. Now, let's move on to The Mandalorian and tie that in. In The Mandalorian, Ahsoka Tano is called a Jedi on numerous occasions, but not once does she correct them. Yet, granted, this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, but still, when did she make the shift from not being a Jedi and just being a helpful citizen to being a Jedi again? Because in the past, anytime somebody would call her a Jedi, she would say, I am no Jedi. Okay, so maybe Yoda did not know about Ahsoka's switch to being a Jedi. We don't even know for sure. But at the same time, he knew Ahsoka existed. He knew Ahsoka could be an asset to Luke Skywalker. He knew even though she wasn't a Jedi, she was a light side user that could coach Luke and carry on the teachings that Yoda left behind. Now, on another hand, we could say Yoda went to Dagobah to disconnect from the light side of the Force. Not so much disconnect from the light side, but to be hidden from the dark side, because Dagobah embodied the dark side of the Force, and it clouded everything, so you couldn't really sense Yoda around, so maybe he couldn't sense others were still around. But that's inaccurate, because he appears to Ezra Bridger. So that begs the question, is Yoda still so ingrained of the old ways of the Jedi Order from the prequel era, not so much the High Republic era, but the prequel era, so much ingrained in it that he's still manipulating Jedi wannabes, or a better term would be Jedi hopefuls, at this time during Return of the Jedi, making Luke feel like he's so important because he's the only Jedi left, that he needs to carry on the Order all by himself. But then we see him in the Book of Boba Fett with Ahsoka, understanding he is not the last Jedi. Now, that's not saying that he and Ahsoka are the last Jedi either. Since then, we've got other stories, and Cal Kestis may still be around, and we're about 90% positive that Ezra Bridger will be making a live-action appearance either in the Ahsoka series or sometime in The Mandalorian, or even in a different show coming up. Now, also in Yoda's defense, it is fair to say that he did not feel Ezra Bridger. Ezra Bridger was taken to the unknown regions by his own doing, and the Purrgil and the whole fight with Thrawn on Lothal and all of that. So maybe Yoda didn't feel him, but he definitely would have felt Ahsoka. And that brings us back to Ahsoka not being a Jedi, and Yoda may have just been mincing words or something, but he definitely would have known Ahsoka existed. The Force doesn't really understand whether you're a Jedi, whether you're a Bendu, whether you're a Sith. It feels the Force. The Force is the Force, and Yoda would have felt the Force energy from Ahsoka, just as he did of Ezra when he visited Ezra at the Jedi Temple on Lothal. Sure, that was a Force projection Yoda that showed up to visit Ezra, just as the Force projection Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi movie. Now we can say this line was a little bit manipulated by Yoda, and maybe he was just holding his rhetoric strict to the words. But at the same time, when Luke asked him about who his father was, Yoda would have rather rolled over and died than listen to Luke Skywalker any further, or answer any of Luke Skywalker's questions from that point on. He didn't want to tell him that Darth Vader was his father. He would have rather died than to tell him that. Look, I know everybody loves Yoda. I love Yoda. I think he's a wonderful character, but he's deeply complex, and it's so fun to just pick apart his little words that he says. And it's not a jab at him or saying that he's this evil guy, because he's not an evil guy. He was a product of his time, of the Republic-era Jedi Council, who manipulated people and bent the Jedi code a little bit, and the Jedi teachings, and maybe not bent, but it got transformed over the years due to interpretation. He even said of Anakin Skywalker, the prophecy misread could have been, or misunderstood. I'd have to go back and watch the exact verbiage of it, but you get the understanding of what I'm trying to say. And I don't think Yoda meant anything malicious when he told Luke Skywalker he's the last Jedi and he needs to go fight Vader and he needs to go fight the Emperor alone. Although he could have taken Ahsoka with him and it probably would have been a heck of a fight. But still, at the same time, Ahsoka was not written at that time, so we got what we got. And no, I don't think Yoda was being malicious, like I said before. I just don't think George Lucas had thought of all the story. I didn't think George Lucas really thought there was going to be more story after Return of the Jedi. That was supposed to be it. Chopping block. Done. So, with all the changes that George Lucas did to the original trilogy throughout the years, why didn't he take this line out? Why did he leave that line in there? It's because Yoda was manipulating Luke inadvertently. Now, as much as I like Yoda, Ahsoka, Ezra Bridger, Cal Kestis, and the nameless other people who survived Order 66, I think this line probably should have been taken out. Or maybe not taken out, but the other characters just not created or made to live that long. And the reason being, In the time that Yoda spoke that, the first time we saw it in 1983, it made the Jedi cause seem imminent that Luke Skywalker take it on, that Luke Skywalker become that force to bring the Jedi Order back. The galaxy seemed desolate with only one Jedi left. Now, the galaxy seems bigger, which is good. It's good to have a bigger galaxy, but at the same time, it's making it muddy. Or at least as far as the Jedi are concerned. It's now muddy as to who all is still left in the Jedi Order. From the original statement from Yoda saying, "When gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be." But let me know in the comments what you think. Should this have been retconned? Should this have been removed from Return of the Jedi when George Lucas was tinkering with the original trilogy? Or should it stay and just become a manipulation of Yoda? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And this is Gerald from Star Wars Fanatic signing off, wishing you all great health and happiness. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.